Welcome to Peninsula District Boys Baseball. Hello, everybody. Mike Hauser along with Roger Cawthon here at Phoebus High School, where the Phantoms will play host to the Crabbers of Hampton.
Good to be with you, Mike. This should be a fun game. Not that the teams are doing all that well this year, but it's going to be fun because they are fighting for their collective playoff lives, so it should be a hard-fought game.
Well, tonight's or this afternoon's starter for the Crabbers on the mound, a young man last year when we did the Hampton-Phoebus game over at the Crabbers home field by a young man named Devin Brandt. That's what it was. I couldn't remember his name. My mind just absolutely went blank. He's 6-2 on the year, and I'll tell you what, just like Andy, I hear you. Last year, Devin pitched a no-hitter against the Phoebus Phantoms. He was 2 batters shy of it being a perfect game, as 2 errors by the infield in the middle of the game stopped a perfect situation, but he did no-hit him. So the Phoebus Phantoms have a little bit of incentive to win this game because it's the same young man who threw the no-hitter against them last year.
Be very interesting to see how he does this year. A year older, a year wiser. Of course, it's going to be fun just because it's Hampton and Phoebus.
And he's still having a good year, too, 6-2 on the year. The leadoff batter for the Crabbers now up to plate, Todd Nolan. He's the center fielder for the Crabbers.
Todd Nolan, all-state football player, also a pretty good baseball player.
Popped up. Looks like it may be playable. Let's see if it stays in. Looks like it goes out there just a little bit. Foul ball. 2-2, I believe, is the count. Warm day. I actually went home from work to put a pair of shorts on because it's 92 degrees out here.
It is up in the 90s. That's amazing. When we did the game just a couple of weeks ago, the girls' softball game, remember we had our jackets on. It was cold.
It was rather on the nippy side. Pitches inside. That'll make the count full, 3-2. Hampton Crabbers come into the game 8-8. They're 7-7 in the district. Swing and a miss into dirt. And the throw down by the catcher gets the first out of the innings.
Here are your Hampton Crabbers for today. Leading off was Todd Nolan. You just saw him strike out to start the game. Then we have Matt Johnson at shortstop. The second baseman is Will Johnson. We have Byron Baker. Devin Branch, the pitcher you were just talking about, Mike. Brian Bowman is at third. Left field is Trevor Howerton. At first base is Corey Johnson. And the catcher is Ben Harris.
Curveball pops it up to the infield. Second out of the play, and that was Matt Johnson, by the way, who was the second batter.
2 quick outs here, top of the first inning.
That pop-up out was made by Mark Lineberry, the Phantom shortstop. That's going to bring up Will Johnson. He is the Crabbers' second baseman today. Nice hard grounder to the third baseman. Makes a high throw that gets by the first baseman, and so will make it to first by the error. That's going to bring up Byron Baker, the left fielder for the Crabbers.
Here's your replay. Good hustle on the ground out, and it's a good thing because the throw was really high. Pulled the first baseman off the bag, and he's safe easily. So we have our first base runner of the game here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, the Phoebus Phantoms catcher, Kyle Shoemate, was down the line, following right behind the hitter, so he was doing his part going down the line. Curveball a little bit outside. Ball 1. Byron Baker.
Byron Baker, a senior. And also a member of the football team.
Looks at a pitch that's over his head. 2-0 is the count. Will Johnson is forced back into the bag by the throw from the pitcher. I'm not real sure if that was a wake-up call there. Look, I can still see you over there, and look out, because if I want to, I'll get you.
Not sure how big a threat he is to steal right now with 2 outs.
That one also is a little bit on the high side. 3-0 is the count on the batter, Byron Baker, for the Crabbers. Runner at first base, Will Johnson, as he reached first via the error. There's a pitch down the middle, called strike, as he was looking for the 4th ball. 3-0 counts, typically a take pitch. Swing and a miss. That's going to make the count full, 3-2.
Quiros fooled him a little bit on that pitch. A little bit of an off-speed pitch there.
And swing and a miss for the 3rd strike. So 2 strikeouts ending for the Phantoms. That's going to be all she wrote for the Crabbers in the top of the 1st inning. No hits, no runs. There was 1 error and 1 left on for the Crabbers. Kind of early, but after a half an inning, no score.
No score.
That'll bring up the Phantoms. Joshua Wilson, the 2nd baseman for the Phoebus Phantoms, will be leading off the bottom of the 1st inning for the Phantoms, followed by Mark Lineberry and Joe Ward.
And here is your lineup for the Phoebus Phantoms. Joshua Wilson, as Mike just said, at 2nd base. Mark Lineberry, the shortstop. Joe Ward at 3rd base. The pitcher, Ramses Quiros. Mike, you talked about the no-hitter he threw last year. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Over at first base is Chuck Niedermeyer. Right field is Patrick Lineberry. Kyle Shoemake, the catcher. Joe Carnes in left field. And Billy Callis in center field. Now, you saw that game last year. Here we have...
Well, now remember now, Quiros was the losing pitcher in that game. The winning pitcher was the Crabber pitcher. He's the one that pitched the no-hitter. And that was...
Devin Branch.
Devin Branch. So it's kind of ironic that you got both the pitchers that were instrumental in that game won by the Crabbers. If I'm not mistaken, it was a 6-0 score. But again, that was a year ago.
So Devin Branch was the starting pitcher, and he threw the no-hitter.
He threw the no-hitter.
You said they had 2 base runners in that game?
They had 2 base runners all in the middle of the game, both by the shortstop errors.
All right, glad you straightened that out. I had the wrong guy.
Somebody's got to keep you straight.
I'm telling you what.
So Devin Branch for the Crabbers will throw the first pitch of the game for the Crabbers, and that's a curveball high and outside, ball 1.
A lot of movement on that pitch. It was just high.
Yeah, we had a perfect view of how much that one broke, too. That looked like it moved about 2 feet.
I'm glad there's a fence between them and us.
And it shows a little bit of his velocity as he put that one right down the middle. Swing and a miss. That'll leave the count of 1-1. Ground ball right back, and what a nice play by Branch as he gets the first out with the easy toss over to the bag. That's going to bring up Mark Lineberry, the shortstop, who made the second out, who got the pop-up in the top of the 1st inning that recorded the 2nd out for the Crabbers.
Shortstop, number 4, Mark Lineberry.
Our public address announcer happens to be sitting right next to us, and I'm sure most of you can hear him. He faked the bunt, and actually he called him, said he went for it, so that's 0-1 is the count. I like how he kind of adds the music into it, kind of gives that little background sound to it.
He's making a good effort over there.
Sounds like a James Bond theme. Ooh, that looked like a pretty pitch from here.
I think that was James Bond.
Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I know the guys in the truck are saying, don't leave your regular job. Singing is not my specialty, right? In the dirt, 2-1 is the count. Those singing lessons my mom paid for, I just never went to them. Was that kind of obvious?
A little bit, just a little bit.
That was in the dirt. 3-1 is the count. There's 1 out in the bottom of the 1st inning. Still no score.
Mark Lineberry with a 3.0 GPA is thinking about maybe going to ODU next year.
as he grounds out to the Crabber shortstop, Matt Johnson, throws him out to give the Phoebus Phantoms their second out.
And sharply hit, and a good play, good throw, just good fundamental baseball. Got him easily.
Next batter is going to be Joe Ward. He is the third baseman for the Phantoms today, number 2. Boy, did you see that ball kick to foul territory when it hit the chalk? That one could have been trouble if it had stayed fair, but it almost looked like it might have hit a stone because it just shot straight to the left.
I think the chalk is piled up in a hill, and they got a little bit of a kick to the left. Yeah, that could have been trouble. That could have been an accidental hit.
Right down the middle.
Joe Ward was telling us that one day he'd like to play for the Philadelphia Phillies if he could. Now there's a good dream.
Do you think the catcher for the Crabbers was sitting outside that time? He was completely outside of the plate area.
We got a good look at why everyone wears face masks. That foul ball off the face mask of the umpire. This guy should get hazardous duty pay.
Nice waste pitch. 2 of them in a row. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count.
Branch has got a lot of movement on his pitches here early. Seems to be controlling them well, too.
Curveball looks like it's going to, almost. Just out of the outstretched reach of the Crabbers' second baseman, Will Johnson. So Joe Ward reaches first base by a little, I would almost call that a line bloop, because I mean it didn't look like it was hit hard. It just happened to go in, but he gets a base hit out of it nevertheless. First hit of the game. Ramsey Quiroz, the pitcher for the Phantoms, now up with Joe Ward sitting on first base. And a ground ball to second. Gets by the second baseman. That also is a hit, advancing Joe Ward to second base. 2 down still with runners on first and second.
That is 2 in a row, just outside the reach of the second baseman. He's not having any fun out there.
He had the bag shaded a little bit on that particular situation, just in case the runner Joe Ward may have had thoughts of stealing, so covering the bag, and the ball was hit in the right spot because there's quite a gap between second and first baseman, and that was a nice curveball. Had the batter bailing out. Chuck Niedermeyer is the batter, first baseman for the Phantoms, number 16. Fouled off over here up against the fence down the first base line.
Chuck Niedermeyer is going to Virginia Tech to pursue engineering, 4.15 GPA.
Sounds to me like he's got a good career ahead of him with that kind of GPA.
He's got a pretty good swing, too.
0-2. One of the things that Branch has been able to do so far is he's been able to stay ahead of the... Oh, and they got him on the back. Joe Ward picked off at second base on a nice play by Devin Branch. That's going to end the inning as the Phoebus Phantoms come up empty with no runs.
Here's a replay. Look, it was just a tremendous throw right on his back. And I tell you what, Mike, it was an awfully close play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could have been called either way. But it was just a great move by Devin Branch. He turned and put it right where it had to be.
Well, with Ward being picked off at second base, to end the first inning of play, the Phoebus Phantoms come up with no runs. They had 2 hits. There were 1 left. No errors by the Crabbers. So at the end of 1, we are scoreless.
According to our director, Scotty Bowers, in the truck, there was no question that the tag was made in time, and he was out. It was just a close play, just a really close play. Umpire right on top of that.
Excellent.
Here comes the throw. He's reaching for the bag. The tag is there before the hand.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Great play.
Thank goodness for instant replay. That showed it clearly, but on the live action, it looked a lot closer than that.
It did. Got to give our instant replay people just absolutely all the credit in the world.
Good photography. Good photography work, too.
Andre Mattingly. The shipping department is handling slow-mo today.
According to Andre, the shipping department is handling slow motion. All right.
Byron Baker will lead off the Crabber second inning.
Starting things off here in the top of the
No, Devin Branch.
Yeah, Devin Branch.
pitcher number 10, Devin Branch.
Devin Branch batting .370.
Pop fly over to shortstop head. Drops in for a base hit as the Crabbers will have their first hit of the game. So Devin Branch helps his cause a little bit there by stroking the first hit for the Crabbers in this game.
Devin Branch going after that pitch a little bit. Had to reach out and get it, but it drops in. 3 Phoebus Phantoms around the ball. No one could get to it. Crabbers have a base runner here in the top of the second inning.
Brian Bowman, the third baseman, is the batter now. Catcher dropped the ball, and because of that, Devin Branch takes off and makes second base pretty easily. So now we have the Crabbers' first scoring opportunity with a runner in scoring position. We'll see just how much Brian Bowman can come through here for the Crabbers. Line shot up the middle. It hit the mound and had a nice Sunday school hop, and he had to come off the bag to make it, but it did advance Devin Branch over to third base on the play.
Ball up the middle, shortstop makes the play to first. Runner advances
Good stroke. Good play by the shortstop to get to the ball. And good tag by the first baseman. He had to come out of position to make that tag. Good heads-up play. But Branch is on third base now, and the Crabbers are in good shape.
Trevor Howerton is the batter for the Crabbers. He is the right fielder.
Trevor is a junior. 3.13 GPA. Member of the football team.
I'm not real sure if that was a squeeze or not. I know the runner was on his way, but it looked like he kind of delayed the run.
I think that was.
But if I know Nanny Mitchell, that was a squeeze play. But I would have thought that the runner may have been a little bit further up the line. But that was fouled off. 0-2 is the count. There's still one out.
Looked like a wait and see.
Pitch is high. So the Crabbers scoring opportunity right now with Devin Branch sitting or standing, whichever way you want to look at it, at third with one out. Pitch is outside in the dirt. Nice play by the catcher to scoop that up. But I tell you what, the backstop here is so close to the plate. If it gets by the catcher, it's going to have a major carom off to one side or the other for anybody to score. Swing and a miss as Howerton goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Corey Johnson, Crabber first baseman.
Now, knowing Danny Mitchell, that probably was a suicide squeeze play, although he sure did hesitate coming down the line. But he's not going to do that again with 2 outs, is he? Well, that's a moot point now.
Nice play by the third baseman, and he dropped the ball. So Corey Johnson gets on base, and I guess you have to make a determination of whether you want. I have to give him a signal on that because the third baseman was actually diving for the ball when he came up with it. So we're going to give Johnson a base hit on the play, and that's going to score Devin Branch for the first run of the game. So with Johnson down at first base.
Here you can see the play. Joe Ward picks it up nice, makes a great play to get his glove on the ball, but then as he goes to make the transfer from the ball from his glove hand to his throwing hand, just loses the handle. So you're going to officially score that as a base hit?
I scored it a base hit.
Are you the official scorer?
I don't care.
I know that I'm not. So
Ben Harris is the batter, the catcher for the Crabbers. 2 down in the bottom of the first inning. The Crabbers have taken the lead 1-0. That was a
excuse me.
Well, yeah, that's a good excuse for it. That's a good analogy of it. Excuse me, swing. Do I want to swing at that or do I not want to swing at that? I know when I tell my son when he swings a bat like that, I say, you're going to either go up there and hit the ball, swing at it, or you don't swing at it. You have to pick the ball up a little earlier and have to make that decision. Swing and a miss as Ferris strikes out to end the inning. So the Crabbers will score 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors. Crabbers leave a runner on base. So after an inning and a half, the Crabbers lead 1-0. That's 2 innings in a row now where the Phantoms pitcher has struck out the 3rd out.
He has 3 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts in the game.
He has 5. He had 3 in the first inning.
Where am I missing one? 3 in the first inning.
Yep. Todd Nolan struck out. Will Johnson struck out. And Byron Baker struck out in the first inning for the Crabbers. So that gives him 5 on the game already.
That's pretty good.
That's going to bring up the Phoebus Phantoms in the bottom of the 2nd inning with their leadoff batter in this inning is their first. Should be the left fielder, Patrick Lineberry. Is that correct?
No, I think Niedermeyer was still batting when the 3rd out was made in the field. Remember, Devin Branch turned and threw the runner off at second base.
That is correct. So that should bring Niedermeyer back up to the box. That's it. That's correct. And he is in the box.
All right. We'll keep it straight.
Chuck Niedermeyer.
Everybody at home watching is going, hey, you guys watching the game? Yeah, Niedermeyer will start the inning off. He was up. He had 2 strikes on him. He had 2 strikes on him, I think, when Devin Branch threw out the runner at second base. So Niedermeyer getting a second chance here.
Ooh, line shot to center field. Todd Nolan makes the play out in center field for the first out.
Man, he got good. I started to say good wood on this. Watch the contact. He really sent that out to center field, but right at the center fielder. I started to say good wood. It's good aluminum, right?
Yep. Patrick Lineberry, the left fielder for the Phantoms, up to bat, number 9. Fouled it back here. 0-1 is the count. 1 down in the bottom of the 2nd inning as we're early on here at Phoebus High School on the 7th day of May, 2004. For all you folks out there that may get a copy of this thing, as he tried to, I guess that was a kind of a haphazard attempt to bunt the ball, and I guarantee you that if he had made contact with the ball, the umpire would have called him out because he was all the way across the plate when he went after that one.
Yeah, the ball was just outside, and he was chasing it, and there's no way he was going to catch up with that.
Well, I'm impressed at the Crabber catcher right now, Ben Ferris, because he is definitely moving around back here, giving Branch the spot to pitch at, and that's fouled right back up here to us.
Yeah, good point, Mike. Anytime a pitcher is doing well, you got to give some credit to the catcher.
Well, it just so happens that we're sitting right here behind him, and he is setting up the pitcher perfectly. He's moving him outside on the pitches. 1 ball and 2 strikes is still the count as Lineberry has fouled back 2 straight, so he's hanging.
Patrick also going to Old Dominion University to play baseball. Old Dominion has just a fantastic baseball program over there. Long history of baseball at Old Dominion University.
2-2 is the count. Ooh, he got the corner on that one.
He really did. That was a pretty pitch.
That goes in the book, by the way, as a backward K, just in case you didn't know that. That means he struck out looking.
Okay. I thought you were just left-handed. I didn't know what you were doing over there.
That means he made no attempt to swing at the 3rd strike. 2 down.
It was just a pretty pitch. It was right on the outside corner.
By the way, we haven't announced who our umpires on the field are today. Barry Gregory is behind the plate. Tom Knoll is the base ump who made that call last inning.
Yeah, Tom, good job, good position right on top of the play. As the instant replay showed, he was out easily. But I tell you, in real time, it was close.
Kyle Shoemake, the batter. He is the catcher for the Phantoms. And a little dribbler down the third base line as it again bounces foul.
That pitch from Devin Branch moved 8 inches from the inside across the plate. He has got some fantastic movement on his pitches today.
He's grown quite a bit too since last year, because last year it seemed to me he was a rather thin young man, and he's filled out quite nicely. Junior for the Hampton Crabbers. 6-2 on the year, looking for his 7th win. Ground ball in the hole, gets by the third baseman. The shortstop makes the play but can't make the throw. Kyle Shoemake will advance to first base, and I think he would have beat the throw anyhow.
It was deep in the hole.
So we're going to give him a base hit on an infield hit.
The throw way off the mark. Pulls the first baseman off, but you're right. It was so deep in the hole, I think he probably would have beaten that throw anyway.
So with Shoemaker making it to first, they've sent in a pinch runner, and I don't know who he is because I haven't seen his number.
Next up for the Phantoms.
We'll get that.
He is number 20.
There you go.
Card.
And I do not have a number 20 on my roster.
Thomas DeBro.
Thank you. He is the courtesy runner for Shoemake as he comes out because the speed rules. That pitch is fouled back to the batter, Joe Carnes, the right fielder for the Phantoms. 2 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Hampton coach Danny Mitchell coming out and helping with the foul ball. Danny Mitchell has been coach here forever. I asked him exactly how many years he's been the baseball coach. He said, I don't know, 20, 25 years. They just don't keep track of that stuff, do they?
Pitch is way up. Even count 1-1. Well, I tell you, most of the coaches in high school, we found doing our games, especially in basketball, you know, when you do your preliminary stuff, you go up and ask them, what's your record, so we can make sure we announce it. And most of them, they have to either go to their assistant coaches or their scorekeepers to actually figure out what their actual season record is. And that happened to us a lot last year.
I asked Danny,
they're not concerned about it. All they have to be concerned about is making the playoffs. I mean, of course, if you're winning everything, you want to keep it that way. And I think they're asking for him to be checked to see if he swung at that pitch, and he's going to walk all the way out there and ask him.
That was very dramatic. The home plate umpire walking halfway down the first base line to look at the base umpire, and they got the call they wanted. They got it correct.
2-2 is the count. Runner at first. 2 out. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Pitch is right down the middle, swung and missed. Strike 3, and that is the 3rd out. See, that is a standard K. I know.
All right.
So the Phantoms leave a runner at first base. They had no hits. I'm sorry, they did have 1 hit as Shoemake got the base hit, the infield hit. So they leave them on first base at the end of 2. The score remains the same. The Hampton Crabbers 1 and the Phoebus Phantoms.
Oh, Mike, okay. But I asked him if he knew what his career record was. We're talking 20, 25 years with the Hampton Crabbers. Danny Mitchell said, I have no earthly idea what my record is.
Your attention, please.
Well, the Hampton Crabbers baseball program really struggled for a long time. And he's got it back on track. They're a 500 team right now. Last year, I think they only had 1 senior on the entire squad. So we knew that this year would be a better team. And they are proving it. They're 500 right now, 7-7 in district, 8-8 overall. Phoebus with the new coaching staff. Also, they are 4-10 in the district and 5-11 overall.
Phoebus' new coach is Scott Snyder, longtime assistant, 7 years assistant under Mike Tyndall. Mike Tyndall gone now, and Scott Snyder takes over, and well-deserved. Scott Snyder, the perfect choice for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Yeah, this is the leadoff batter for the Crabbers. Todd Nolan, the center fielder, in the first inning. He struck out swinging. Change up, fouled back here, out of play. 0-2 is the count.
Scott Snyder told me that here in his first year, trying to get his feet wet, trying to get the program where he wants it, doing a pretty good job. They are still fighting for the playoffs. Where they're what, 2 games out of the playoffs? So it's not over yet.
A shot up the middle as the shortstop makes a great play.
Great play on the shortstop. The ball up the middle.
Mark Lineberry cuts the ball off as the runner, Todd Nolan, is nailed at first base for the first out.
Watch this snag. Ball sharply hit to shortstop. Great pickup, great throw, just a good play.
Matt Johnson now is the batter. He is the shortstop. Fly ball short right field. So there's 2 quick outs here in the top of the 3rd inning for the Crabbers. It's going to bring up Will Johnson, the second baseman.
Joe Carnes with a nice play out there in right field. Routine out.
2 outs on the board. Now batting second baseman, Will Johnson.
We have the Johnson boys playing for the Crabbers. Matt, Will,
Corey,
and Corey. And he swings at a high pitch that was in his eyes, and you know Danny don't like that. Look at him.
Danny Mitchell is staring at him saying, what are you thinking?
He's not even saying nothing. He's just looking at him. He's not even going to give him a signal. What do you want me to do, Coach? I'm not going to give you nothing. There he talks to him. He said, watch that outside pitch. That'll even count 1-1. 2 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. 1-0. Hampton. That was fouled back because he hangs in there.
Yeah, good cut on that one. Now on that first pitch, the one that was that was high heat. I mean, let's cut him a little bit of slack. When that thing is coming about 85 miles an hour at your eyeballs, you kind of swing at it in defense, don't you?
What are you ducking for?
He's throwing high and right at. We are right behind home plate, and that ball was headed right for the eyeballs.
2-2 now, as that pitch was definitely high. There's a pitch in the dirt as Will Johnson has pulled back, and counts now full 3-2.
Danny Mitchell just yelled at him, just get in there. Just get in there and hit it. Danny Mitchell down the third base line, guiding his troops.
Ooh. He must have been low, because I'll tell you what, it was over the plate. So Will Johnson reaches first with the walk. That's going to bring up Byron Baker, the left fielder for the Crabbers, who was also a strikeout victim in the first inning. 2 down.
Byron Baker.
There goes Coach Schneider running out to the pitcher's mound. Wants to talk with Caros a minute and settle him down.
Right up till this moment, Ramses Quiros was pitching a really good ball game, but on that one batter, he seemed to lose control. He was throwing them high.
0-2 and then lost them.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that the pitcher realizes he's still doing a good job and just focus.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we try to get these kids to learn. They need to focus on what they're doing every pitch.
Good move by Scotty Snyder to go out there and calm his young pitcher down, because otherwise he's really been doing a pretty good job.
That's a statement move right there. I know you're over there. Step off of the rubber. Pitch is outside, ball 1.
Yeah, but if he's having control problems here all of a sudden, he doesn't need to be worrying about that man on first base.
He's got 2 outs already in the inning. Pitch is outside, but I tell you what, he put the ball where the catcher was standing. The catcher was actually set up outside of the plate on that particular pitch.
And it brought a little heat with it, too. We could hear that one.
And he's also setting up outside, but that pitch is a little high, 3-0. So after getting out in front 0-2 against Will Johnson, he has thrown 7 balls in his last 8 attempts. That was low, ball 4. 2 walks in a row now, and that's going to bring up the pitcher, Devin Branch, who has the first RBI with a base hit in the second inning.
2 out, 2 on. Stepping up to the plate, the pitcher, Devin Branch.
So we'll see if the Crabber pitcher can help his cause a little bit more here, as the Crabbers now have a runner in score position again. Will Johnson at second. Pitch is outside.
Devin scored the Crabbers' first run. It was Ben Ferris with the RBI, wasn't it?
That is correct.
I'll keep you straight. You keep me straight, I'll keep you straight.
A fly ball to right center field. See which one's going to get there. The right fielder does, and he dropped it. He dropped the ball. Now, if we've got a replay on that, I'd like to see that again, because one of the things that I would be concerned about as I was the coach, I'd be out there asking the umpire, did he have the ball in his hand long enough before it came out? You know, that might have been a situation where, if you look at it, it might have been a situation where he was trying to take it out of his glove.
Here's the catch. The 2 outfielders running into each other. He's got it in the glove, but then as his glove comes down, the ball comes out. And you're right, Mike. The question is, did he have it long enough? But no one is arguing that call.
And that is a fly ball by Brian Bowman to end the inning.
Joe Carnes and Billy Callis getting crossed up out there in the outfield on that fly ball to allow the run to score.
So the Crabbers pick up another run as Will Johnson scored on that error. We have to give him an error on it, even though I thought he had the ball long enough. As Bowman flies out to center field to end the inning for the Crabbers, as they scored a run. They had 2 walks, which basically led to it. There were no errors, and there was 1 left. 2.5 are complete here at Phoebus, and the Crabbers lead the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 2-0.
Now, that's a really good point you bring up. I think he did not have the ball long enough for it to be an out. You think that he did. The umpire obviously called it an error. Why isn't the coach out there arguing that call?
With the coaching experience that I've had in the past, that would have been the first thing I did out there. Not so much as to go out and argue the call, but to go out and let the umpire basically know that, hey, we thought that he had the ball long enough, and as he was coming down with the ball, it came out. Now, that may not have been the case, but I think as a coach, I'd have been out on the field at least questioning it.
Well, it wouldn't have done any good.
It probably not.
But you got to go talk to him.
But 9 times out of 10, when a coach goes out on the field, it's not to argue a call. It's to make sure the umpire knows that, hey, look, I know you're out there, and I know that could have gone either way. Maybe next time it will go my way. As Billy Callis leads off the bottom of the 3rd inning as he strokes the ball to the left field for a base hit. That's going to bring up the leadoff batter for the Phantoms, Joshua Wilson, and he is their second baseman.
Nice swing. Good contact on this. Clean hit. And Phoebus has a base runner.
Trailing 2-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Callis reaches, the number 9 hitter reaches by a base hit. This curveball's got a lot of movement. Need to get the pitch down a bit. That was in his eyes. 1 ball, no strike is the count. Ground ball that is a tailor-made double play ball. Pulled him off of the bag at first, so got the first out. Callis at second base. Goes as a fielder's choice. And Wilson stays on first base as the throw
One hopper to third baseman makes the
from the second baseman Johnson was a little bit wide and pulled him off the bag. That's going to bring up Mark Lineberry, the shortstop, who has played an exceptional game so far, as he's made a couple of really good plays over there at short just in the 3 innings that we've played. Nice curveball in there for a strike.
Mark, a 381 hitter.
We will be picking our players of the game for both teams today. There's another shot at nice play, but it don't look like he's going to have a shot to get it. He's going to have an infield hit by Mark Lineberry as he reaches base safely. Advancing to second base is Wilson. That's going to put runners at first and second, and there are 1 out.
Matt Johnson really just doing a good job getting down in the dirt, doing a good job just to keep the ball in front of him, keep it in the infield, so that we don't have Phoebus Phantoms running everywhere. As it is, they've got runners on first and second, and they're in pretty good shape here in the 3rd inning.
There's a line drive that might bring a runner in. Oh, it's off the right fielder. Phoebus is going to score their first run. That's a base hit and an error as Joe Ward advances to second base off a hit. That's Wilson will score from second base with Lineberry advancing to third. So runners at first and second and third.
Joe Ward sending it out into the gap, and it falls right in front of the right fielder. And Joshua Wilson able to score easily on that play, and all of a sudden Phoebus has come alive.
Phoebus's pitcher, Ramsey Quiros, is up about now as he had a base hit in the 1st inning.
Phoebus has been very quiet up to this point, but all of a sudden they're getting to Devin Branch. A couple of long balls sent out to the outfield.
Ooh, what a pitch that was, and here he comes. Lineberry scores on a wild pitch. Tied game now as the Phantoms have scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. Advancing over to third base, Joe Ward.
Devin Branch uncorking a wild pitch, and Lineberry able to come in and score easily. There wasn't a lot that the Hampton catcher Ben Ferris could do about that one.
1-1 is the count. There's 1 out still, bottom of the 3rd. Pitch is a little bit high. He seems like he's throwing more sidearm than he was earlier. He's not bringing the ball over the top. And his pitches consistently are high right now. Pitch was outside, but he swung at it. 2-2 is the count, 1 out.
He still has a lot of movement on that ball, though. We've got such a great advantage right here behind home plate. We can really see that ball moving a good 6 to 8 inches on that curveball.
And that's going to be an infield hit because I don't believe anybody's going to get there. As Devin Branch is late getting to the bag, Ramsey Quiros gets a base hit, and that scores Joe Ward for the lead run as the Phantoms have now come back and scored 3 runs.
Quiros with the shot out there, and again, doing a good job of keeping the ball in the infield, but the run scores easily.
That is the 4th single in this inning so far for the Phantoms.
Chuck Niedermeyer.
Let's go.
Chuck Niedermeyer is now the batter, first baseman for the Phantoms. Nice curveball. He gets the call from the plate umpire.
Did you see how much that ball moved?
A lot.
However, when it is not moving, Phoebus is hitting it hard like that.
Nice play by the Crabber right fielder as he runs that down. That's Trevor Howerton for the 2nd out. Quiros stays at first base on that line drive. Nice replay by Andre Mattingly.
And good play out there in the outfield.
Patrick Lineberry, left fielder for the Phantoms, now coming to the plate. Kiros will now come out in courtesy runner.
17.
That is number 17, Carl Barnes. So he will be a courtesy runner for Kiros.
The left fielder, Patrick Lineberry.
2 down here in the bottom of the third inning as the Phoebus Phantoms have struck gold here, scoring 3 runs. Ground ball to the third baseman. They're in plenty of time. Got to throw and to catch as the first baseman for the first baseman dug that one out of the dirt. That ends the inning for the Phantoms.
Brian Bowman grabbing this and throwing on the run, and another close play, but clearly the instant replay shows that he got him easily. Andre, great job with the slow motion instant replay there. Really told the story.
Well, 3 runs by the Phantoms scored in the bottom of the third inning to take the lead. 3 runs on 4 hits, all singles. There was 1 error in the outfield that allowed a runner to advance. So after 3 complete, the Phoebus Phantoms now lead the Hampton Crabbers by a score of 3-2.
Phoebus coach Scott Snyder talking about what a young, inexperienced team he's got, and for them to come from behind after falling behind 2-0 to Hampton and come up with 3 runs in this inning to take the lead, I think shows a lot of character, a lot of experience here late in the season.
Yeah, they did a good job taking advantage of a situation where last year's pitcher against them in the same situation no-hit them, and they know it. They're coming out here with the attitude that it's not going to happen again this time. So far, they're doing a good job getting a piece of the ball. A couple of announcements that we need to put out. The Math Zone is back on Channel 46. Check out the new feature, Teachers on the Run. Students can call in and get help with their math homework or solve the problem of the day. Tuesdays and Thursdays live at 5 p.m. on WHCS Channel 46. Also, for all you folks out there that like to channel surf on the internet, you can check out Channel 46 Sports website at WHCS46.sportscombine.com, where you can get up-to-date information on almost all high school sports in the Peninsula District. Top of the 4th inning now. Crabbers bring up Trevor Howerton, the right fielder, who made a nice play out in the outfield in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1-0 is the count. So Ramsey's Kiros now has something to work with as their team came back and helped him out a little bit, along with his bat, taking the lead 3-2.
Kiros a big part of the scoring there, but now remember, in the last inning he started losing a little bit of his control. So let's see how he rebounds here in this inning.
One and 1 is the count. Fouled back here, out of play. 2-2 is the count. On the batter, Trevor Howerton, the right fielder. He struck out in the 2nd inning for the 2nd out of the inning. Pitch almost hits him in the face. He gets out of the way just at the nick of time.
You don't think Kiros was trying to brush him back a little bit, do you?
Now on the full count now, 3-2. That one's line out of play down the first base line. So he's hanging in there, still 3-2. As we have picked up a pretty healthy crowd now.
Good crowd out here on a beautiful spring day. Temperatures dropped to about 88.
It has. Nice hold back. He really wanted to go after that one. So Howerton reaches first with the ball, with the base on balls. That's going to bring up number 7, the first baseman Corey Johnson. Johnson had a base hit in the 2nd inning
Now batting first base
and was stranded
Johnson.
at first.
You know, I said earlier it was Ben Ferris with the RBI, and I was wrong. It was Corey Johnson with the RBI that scored that first run. I'm telling you, you gotta watch me.
I have my own problems watching myself, much less watching you. There's a bouncer right up the middle, and the shortstop was standing right there waiting on it. But unfortunately for him, Corey Johnson beats the throw. So Howerton is retired at second base on a fielder's choice. Ben Ferris now will be the batter, the
Stepping
catcher.
on the bag and throwing to first, and it's not even in time there. But heads up play to step on the bag. If he had tried to make a handoff or anything, that would have caused all kinds of problems.
That was right down the middle of the plate. 0-1 is the count. Crabbers need to get something going here after giving up the lead. Had a 2-0 lead going into the bottom of the third. Gave up 3 runs. There's a steal attempt. In there safely is Corey Johnson as he beats the throw. So that puts Johnson in scoring position, again with the batter Ben Ferris up. This is the Crabber catcher that has really done a good job handling Devin Branch so far in the game. That's the way to hold it back. Pitch was in the dirt. Oh, he called it.
There's the steal. The ball not handled at all.
Let's see if we can see that last pitch, if anybody happened to catch that, because the umpire on the bases called a pitch is high.
We were watching the replay of the steal when the pitch was made that you're talking about, and unfortunately our second slow motion replay machine is not working at this moment.
I think he was kidding.
You mean?
There's a shot to left center field, going back deep as the left fielder makes the play. That is the second out of the inning for the Crabbers. That's going to bring up Todd Nolan, the leadoff batter.
Patrick Lineberry doing a good job out there handling that fly ball.
And that was a nice rip. That one takes him back close to the fence.
Patrick Lineberry had to retreat, but he got back there in time and made a good play.
So Todd Nolan now the batter. Again at second base, Corey Johnson. Pitch is right down the middle. Todd Nolan struck out in the first, and he grounded out to the shortstop in this third inning, so he is 0 for 2 now in the game, looking for his first hit. Ooh, off the end of the bat, back over here into the Crabber dugout.
Todd is a 267 batter. But an all-state football player both ways. First team all-state for the Hampton Crabbers.
I'm not sure about why that play happened, but attempting to try to steal third base was Corey Johnson, and he was nailed. It wasn't even close. So,
well, actually, we had to sit here and wait for him to get to third base. The third baseman had the ball for a while.
So what's going to happen is when we come back out here in the top of the fifth inning, Todd Nolan will come up to the plate again, as he was sitting.
They've got a lot of
That's Andy's ride.
There's a lot of activities going on here at Phoebus High School. What is that, the student drivers out there? Or is that a pizza delivery?
I believe. Well, we've come to the end of the top of the third inning. Top of the fourth inning, I'm sorry, as we come to the bottom of the fourth inning now. The Hampton Crabbers did not score as Corey Johnson is thrown out trying to steal third base. To end the inning,
he either got an incredibly late start or
it wasn't even close.
No, the third baseman, I think that was a pizza delivery for the third baseman while he was waiting for Corey to get over there to third base. He had that ball for a second or two before the runner got there.
That was rough. That's going to bring up the Phantoms catcher, Kyle Shoemake. Had a base hit in the second inning. There's a shot down the third base line, and it goes under the legs of the third baseman.
Let's go.
Shoemake advances to first base.
You're going to give him a hit on that? Brian Bowman was just
Going through his legs.
It was just, well, it never came up. He was expecting it to come up, and it just never did. He didn't touch it.
You tell me what you think I should give, and I'll tell you what I wrote.
The grass in the infield's a little rough. I'm trying to cut him some slack.
Well, you can cut him some slack. I gave him an E.
Okay.
There's an attempt to advance the runner to second base, and does a good job as the Crabbers third baseman comes in and throws him out. So Carnes is a fielder's choice, first out, as Shoemake advances to second base.
Good sacrifice. Lays down the bunt beautifully. The only play is at first base. They move the runner over. Nice sacrifice.
Billy Callis, now the center fielder for the Phantoms, is batting. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Had him bailing out a little bit on that one, as it was a nice curveball by Devin Branch.
Devin Branch has looked very impressive in this game. A few rough spots, of course, when he gave up 3 runs. But otherwise, seems to be very much in control.
3 runs on
4 straight singles.
Well, there was there happened to be a fielder's choice in the middle of that, but it happened to be four straight singles out of 5 batters, so it wasn't 4 straight. Let's make sure everybody's clear on that. 4 out of 5 batters that he faced in a row got singles to lead off the inning.
Have we been clear about anything so far?
No, but we're having fun. Are you having fun?
I am having a ball.
This is good. I like doing this. 0-2 is the count. That is a definite waste pitch that comes back here. And here is a prime example right now as to why, with a short backstop, runners have a hard time advancing, because if he had gone, they'd have nailed him.
On any other field, that runner is on third base easily. I don't think I've ever seen a backstop so close to home plate.
Yeah, this is, I bet we're not 15 feet away from the plate. Nice catch by the catcher for the Crabbers as he hangs on. That's the second out of the inning as Callis goes down swinging. That's going to bring up the leadoff batter, Josh Wilson, second baseman. So far, he grounded out to the pitcher, a comebacker. He actually advanced to first on a fielder's choice in the third and scored the first run of the game for the Phantoms. 0-1 is the count. Both teams have left runners in scoring position so far in the game. Oh, nice holdback. As I tell you, that was close. He didn't go. 1-1.
Some of the fans getting into the game here.
These guys are 15, 20 feet away from us, and we're picking them up pretty good.
We apologize. Not much we can do about the fans in the stands.
A little bit low.
But again, did you see the movement on the pitch?
Absolutely.
It's an amazing curveball.
2-1 now is the count.
Hey, let's go, Fats. He don't want to hit. He want to walk.
Swing and a miss. That'll even it up 2-2. 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Phoebus Phantoms lead the Hampton Crabbers by a score of 3-2. Nice pitch outside. That's going to fill him up, though. 3-2 is the count. He's definitely trying to keep the ball away from him.
Yeah, he knows they've got enough runs already, so he's not going to give them anything easy to hit.
Nice curveball. Swing and a miss for Wilson. That's the third out of the inning. as the Phoebus Phantoms are retired after the 4th inning. They leave a runner on second base after he advanced by an error. So after 4 complete innings of play here at Phoebus High School, the Phantoms lead the Hampton Crabbers by a score of 3-2.
One of the reasons this is so much fun is because the kids are playing so hard. As we mentioned at the top of the game, both of these teams fighting for their playoff life. The top 6 teams, of course, advance to the playoffs. Hampton right now is in the 5th position, and Phoebus is 2 games out of 6th position. So for Phoebus, this is do or die. That's all there is to it.
That's right. 5-11 on the season, 4-10 on the district. They only have 4 games left, counting this, in the regular season.
Even Danny Mitchell was saying yesterday about what a big game this was for both teams, but even for Hampton. Yes, they're in 5th place, but they got 2 teams right on their heels that would love to knock them out of the playoffs if they could.
Well, we're going to pick a player of the game from both teams today. Each player will receive a trophy and a T-shirt. The trophy comes from Trophy World, located in Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition and award needs, trophies, plaques, and custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World, 595-7354, and mention this announcement for some special pricing. The T-shirts are coming from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411 and talk to Dave Chubb or Terry McNamara. So we enter the 5th inning of play with the Phoebus Phantoms out in front by a score of 3-2 over the Hampton Crabbers. Leadoff batter again, who was up there when the last out was made, is the Crabber leadoff batter, Todd Nolan. 2-0 is the count. Todd was kind of left stranded there at the plate when Corey Johnson was thrown out trying to steal third in the bottom or the top of the 4th inning. There's a pitch that's right down the middle as Nolan was waiting for that one. He was just going to sit there and let that one go.
I think he was taking that one.
Danny Mitchell had to take sign on. It sure looked like it because he never moved. Says, bring me the pitch. Let's see what we're going to get. And here comes the next pitch, and that's a nice hopper to the shortstop. High, no, the pitch throw over to first base was high. Pulled the first baseman off. He had to try to make the tag, and with Nolan's speed, that's going to be hard to do.
Nolan sends it to the shortstop, Mark Lineberry, and he makes the play, but the throw just a little bit high. First baseman tries to make the tag, but he missed him.
So Nolan reaches first base because of the error. Matt Johnson, the shortstop, is the next batter for the Crabbers. Popped out to the shortstop in the 1st inning. He flew out to right field in the 3rd inning to play. 0-2 on the night.
You giving him an error on that throw?
Absolutely. Pulled the first baseman off the bag.
You don't think Nolan was going to beat the throw?
No.
You're a hard man. I think you're right, though.
That's a shot in the hole as the third shortstop was covering closer to the bag in case Nolan was going to take off. And fortunately for the Crabbers, Matt Johnson gets a base hit.
Base hit, which runners at first and second brings up.
You're right.
Will Johnson.
Everybody concerned about second base. There's a big hole there, and Matt Johnson sends it through for the clean hit. And all of a sudden, the Crabbers have runners on first and second with nobody out, and they've got a charge coming.
Will Johnson is the next batter, the second baseman. He struck out in the 1st, and he had a base on ball in the 3rd as he pops out to short. Right center field as the center fielder makes the play for the first out. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Byron Baker.
Just really a routine fly ball, no problem. Everybody tagging, but nowhere to go. And the runners are still sitting at first and second, one out.
Catch made by Billy Coles out there in short right center field. Runners at first and second. One down here in the top of the 5th inning. It's going to bring up Byron Baker. Swing and a miss.
Ball inside on his fist. He really didn't have much of a shot at that.
Baker also, like Will Johnson, struck out in the 1st inning, and he walked in the 3rd inning. Pitch is outside. So he is 0 for 1 so far in the game. 1-1 is a count. One down here in the top of the 5th inning. Crabbers trailing 3-2. Pitch is outside. He put it right where his catcher was setting up, and I'm very impressed at the ability of the pitchers on both of these teams right now to put the ball where the catcher is setting up.
And both catchers very much in control.
Todd Nolan stealing third base. And on the throw, Matt Johnson advances to second.
Joe Ward did a great job to snag that throw. There you go. There's the throw, and Joe Ward doing a great job to catch that ball and keep it in the infield. Otherwise, Hampton would have had at least one run right there.
One of the things Scotty said was, would that have been a double steal? I wouldn't have called that a double steal, and the reason why, there's a pop-up in the infield here over here to the first baseman. It makes the play for the second out. And the reason why I wouldn't have called that a double steal is because Matt Johnson was delayed going to the bag. He waited until the throw before he took off. He was the ball was already at the bag at third before he even got there.
This just a little pop-up into foul territory. No problem for the second out. No, I don't think it was a double steal.
Well, Devin Branch again is up there with the opportunity to try to help his team out. Runners on second, third, 2 down now.
That was a little low and a little outside. And Devin Branch able to lay off of that one.
Let's go back.
Nice curveball. The ball looked like it was coming in high, and it just dropped in the spot.
Now, see, that one looked like it was high, but it definitely caught the outside corner.
1-1 is the count. 2 down.
I'm telling you, we are too close to home plate. When those balls come back here, they are flying. I have ducked 3 times.
Good thing there's a fence there. That's all I got to say. Pitch is high.
Oh, Devin Branch wanted to go after that one. You know he wants to help his own cause here.
Well, this is a spot where they're going to have to do it. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity. Second, third, 2 out. Pitch is low, and he holds back. That makes the count full, 3-2. 2 down in the top of the 5th inning with the Crabbers trailing 3-2.
Now, do you put him on here? Do you go ahead and walk him and load the bases? Or to give him a chance to drive in a run?
Yep. Second thought. Let's see if the play is made. I hate to tell you this, but I want to see that again because I don't think he caught that ball. And I don't think Danny Mitchell thinks it is either because he's heading right straight for the umpire.
Billy Callis making a diving catch out in center field.
I thought the ball hit the ground.
Little hard to see from, oh gosh, that's hard to call. It almost looks like he might have trapped it. Here, slow motion. The ball is coming down. We're at a little bit of a bad angle. He's kind of blocking the shot. I can't tell. I cannot see it from this angle. The ball is right in front of his glove. I tell you what, if it was a catch, it was a heck of a catch by Billy Callis, but there is every reason. Umpire has a good view of it. Scotty Bowman pointing that out. Umpire is right in position. We can't see it because of the angle of the camera. Gosh, that was close. Gosh, that was a close play.
That was one that might have gone either way, but unfortunately for the Hampton Crabbers, that ends the inning for them as they left 2 on base and still trail 3-2.
I'll ask my question again. Why didn't they go ahead full count, men on second and third? Why not go on and put him on first base, load the bases for the easy out after that? Instead, they pitch to him. He drives the ball to center field and comes within inches of driving in the tying run.
That's a good question to ask, but I think we need to be asking the Phoebus coach. But unfortunately for the Crabbers, it worked out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But in this particular case, it worked out for the Phantoms as the third out was recorded. So says the base umpire.
We'll give Billy Callis of Phoebus all the credit in the world for a tremendous diving catch, really heads-up play. There was no doubt he thought he caught it. He raised his hand in the air immediately.
Mark Lineberry will lead off the bottom of the fifth inning for the Phoebus Phantoms. Shortstop has been right there involved with a lot of plays so far, and it looks like he wanted to kind of have a drag bunt there and fouled that one all the way back into the tennis courts.
Now, Billy Callis doesn't make that catch. This is a tie ball game.
No doubt. With a runner on second base, they were all running on contact. As a matter of fact, the Crabbers probably would have taken the lead on that.
I think you're right.
Pitch is low in the dirt. 1-1 is the count.
Because the ball would have gotten past him if he hadn't made the catch.
So that is the play of the game so far. Fly ball to short left field. Comes in, makes the play for the first out. I tell you, he had to battle that sun too.
Byron Baker doing a good job. He had to take a couple of extra steps in to grab that, but watch how he hesitates just a little bit here, Mike. It's the really high fly ball. Byron thinks he's got it, then a few more extra steps in and almost drops down to one knee, but makes a good play.
Joe Ward, the batter now. He is 2 for 2 with 2 singles in the game.
That's a tough play like that on a really high fly ball. Somebody had to think about it.
One out here in the bottom of the fifth. Pitch is high. Ball 1. Joe Ward, 2 for 2 in the game, both singles. Scored the third run, the lead run as it stands. So right now, the play of the game, without doubt, has been made by the center fielder, Billy Callis, on a terrific play, as it turns out, in center field to snuff out the Crabber rally in the top of the fifth inning. Looked like it might have been a little bit outside, but he got the call.
I'm still thinking about that catch. I wish we could have had a little bit better angle, but we've got 3 cameras out here. You can't ask for any more than that. Just happened to be right behind him on that snag.
A little high and outside. 2-2 is the count. Well, Danny Mitchell, without doubt, didn't think it was a good call because he was on the field arguing the play. Wasn't long though. There's a line shot down the first base line. Foul ball. And I'm going to tell you, that was inches from being fair.
Yeah, it was.
The first base umpire was right on that one because he was looking at it down the line.
Good thing, too, because it really was close.
That was easily a double if it had gotten in fair. 2-2 is the count. Nice curve ball. Didn't get the call that time. That will make the count full. 3-2. And the payoff pitch. Shot hit to the shortstop who keeps it in front of him, but unfortunately doesn't make the play and turns around and throws it away. So Joe Ward advances to second base on 2 errors, an error on the infield by the shortstop and a throwing error.
Matt Johnson just not able to get the handle on the ball. Watch, he keeps it in front of him. Again, good job keeping it in front of him, but he just cannot get the handle on it. Then how many times have you seen it? He tries to make up for the bad play with a good play, and he throws it away and winds up making 2
Well, the
errors.
worst part of it is with Ward running down the baseline, by the time he got to the ball, he was already at the bag.
Yeah.
He really didn't even need to make the play.
Yeah. We've seen that happen so many times. They try to make up for it. They try to overcome that initial error, and it just backfires on them.
There's Quiroz again with a line shot to.
Now that's a catch.
Nice play by the Crabber center fielder Todd Nolan on a diving play to make the play as Quiroz is retired for the second out.
Now we can see this one clearly from the press box. Here's the replay. Todd Nolan diving catch, the ball clearly in his glove. Now that's 2 great catches we've seen. Billy Callis for Phoebus making the other catch. We just could not see the ball go in Callis' glove from here. And on the replay, we were blocked by his body in the camera angle. So we don't want to take anything away from Billy Callis. It was a heck of a play. And Todd Nolan comes right back and makes a heck of a play for Hampton.
That was a play that I thought maybe that the right fielder would have had a better shot at it, but it looked like Nolan when the ball hit the bat, he was wide open going after it.
He out. Come on.
Not only that, but he covered a lot of ground quickly.
That shows you his speed that Nolan's got. And, we saw the speed in the last inning when he stole third base. There's a ground ball to the shortstop area as we got a play here at the plate. There's nobody here to make the play. And coming all the way around to score, Joe Ward. With Niedermeyer advancing all the way to second base on the play. The Crabber catcher, Ben Ferris, went down the first baseline to cover any throw that would be made, but unfortunately, that is a position where he doesn't need to be doing that with a runner over there at second base because he left the plate wide open.
That's exactly right, a mental error there. Trying to hustle. You got to give him credit. He was trying to hustle, but with a runner coming around, you got to cover home. Throw coming home and just nobody there. And I'm a little surprised because it's Hampton making some of the mental errors when it's Phoebus that's the younger, more inexperienced ball club. So a little bit of turn of events here from the first time they met this year when Hampton was able to stay in control and Phoebus kind of came unraveled at the end of the ball game.
So the Phoebus Phantoms have scored the fourth run of their game for them, and now they lead 4-2. There's a shot down the first baseline that will be fair, and another run will score as Patrick Lineberry goes all the way to second base on a double, advances to third on a throw-in error. As the Crabbers are now falling apart defensively, Lineberry ends up at third base with a double, scoring Niedermeyer. That is the fifth run of the game for them as they now lead the Crabbers by a score of 5-2.
And you're exactly right. Mental errors, that's all there is to it. Let's see what slow motion replays got for us.
Never even hesitated. He was going to second base from the get-go.
And then not being able to handle the throw into second base. The throw coming into second was the right play, but they weren't able to handle it, and now there's a runner on third.
There's a loop and fly ball to center field as Nolan comes in and makes the third out of the inning for the Phantoms, but they struck again as they scored 2 runs on a couple of hits. There was 2 errors and there was 1 left on base. So at the end of 5 innings of play now, the Hampton Crabbers trail the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 5-2.
This is somewhat of a reversal from the first time these two teams met this year in Game 1 played at Hampton earlier in the season. Phoebus jumped out to a huge early lead. They led 8-2 after 3 innings, and then Hampton came back and won that ball game 11-8. Phoebus coach Scott Snyder said that was their Achilles heel. They were not able to hold on to big leads late in the game, but here today we're seeing just the opposite. It's Phoebus staying in control here late in the game, and Hampton starting to make the mental errors.
Well, so far the Phoebus Phantoms have taken care of business. Their pitcher, Caros, has done an exceptional job in handling the Crabber bats so far, holding them to 2 runs.
Phoebus scoring their runs in bunches, 3 in the third, 2 in the fifth. It seems like Devin Branch very much in control, except in spurts. He gets in a little bit of trouble and has trouble stopping the bleeding.
Well, I'm sitting here looking at the book, and I'm thinking for the Hampton Crabbers in the first 2 innings of the game, they had 5 strikeouts, and since then they've made their own mental mistakes. If you look at the book, you got base on balls, you got double plays. They have been putting the wood on the ball, but they're just not taking advantage of it. Last inning, they left 2 on second and third. They had second and third with 1 out, ended up not scoring. So they're their own Achilles heel at this point. Here's Brian Bowman, the third baseman for the Crabbers, leading off the 6th inning. Swinging at a pitch that was in the dirt. 0-1 is the count. Again, we will be picking a player of the game for both teams. We need to probably think about that here shortly since we're already in the 6th inning. There's a line shot to center field, and the center fielder going back after it and almost made a tremendous play on the run as it bounces off his glove. So Bowman is going to reach second.
Was that Billy Callis again?
That was Callis out there trying to make another terrific play.
He had the ball. He had the ball in his glove. Watch this. Here's a replay. Billy Callis on the run, gets his glove on the ball, but as he's trying to regain his composure for the throw, the ball just drops out. You got to give the kid a lot of credit. He covers a lot of ground out there.
Yeah, the discussion here at this point was whether that was a base hit or an error, and guess what? The consensus is it's an error because he had it in the glove.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it would have been a heck of a play. He did it. He was on the run.
It was a great catch. It was a great catch. He just lost the handle as he was bringing the glove down. No one was more surprised than he was because he thought he had it.
This is Trevor Howerton, the right fielder, number 8, the batter.
I like that Billy Callis. He really hustles out there.
Yeah, that's usually the spot where you put somebody that's very aggressive in the outfield, center field, because he's the quarterback of the outfield. There's a shot down the first base line. Fair. Nice play by the third baseman to get the out as Bowman advances over to third base.
Watch this play. Great snag over there by Joe Ward, and he makes a beautiful throw.
Corey Johnson, the first baseman for the Crabbers, is now batting. He is 1 for 2, a single in the 2nd inning. That's where he was stranded. So the Crabbers have a runner in scoring position again this inning. There he's at third base in the name of Brian Bowman. But that was a shot that he put out there to center field.
Yeah.
And on the run, Callis couldn't quite bring it in.
Callis got to it. He just couldn't hang on to it.
He's probably sitting out there kicking himself now because the ball hit off the heel of his glove.
I don't think so. I think he had the ball and he lost it when he was bringing it down. I don't think it hit the heel. I think the guy made a good catch. He just couldn't rein it in. See, now where's replay when you need it? We saw that.
2-1 is the count. One down here in the top of the 6th inning as the Hampton Crabbers trailing 5-2 to the Phoebus Phantoms.
Andre doing a good job with slow motion replay today. I tell you, there's a great crew out here.
Andre does a good job all the time.
There's a great crew out here. Fantastic camera work. Fantastic slow motion replay. Scotty Bowers and his crew really to be commended. Doing a great job on these ball games. Give these kids some exposure. They really deserve it.
Foul back here. I believe that one got right off the top shoulder of the catcher. Full count, 3-2, one down.
Scotty Bowman, our executive director, he has been doing this like forever, right? The guy's just old as dirt, right?
Well, if you saw him, you'd probably say that too. It's Scotty Bowman.
What did I say?
Bowman. Swing and a miss. Strike 3
Sorry.
as Corey Johnson goes down for the second out. Striking out.
Sorry, Scotty. We're out here excited over the ball game.
Scotty says, well, we should get my name right.
Bowman is the guy on the team. Bowman's the player.
It's Master Scotty Bowman. Pitches in the dirt. Ben Ferris, the catcher for the Crabbers, struck out in the 2nd inning. Flew out deep to left field in the 4th inning. He really got a hold of the ball that last time, but unfortunately for him, the defense was there to make the play. Down at third base again is Brian Bowman. Crabber third baseman standing there.
That's where we got the name Bowman from.
I tell you something else. If Danny Mitchell's not going to be happy with all these players being stranded in score position. Now again, a nice shot to left field. Right to him as he takes a couple of steps and makes the third out of the inning. So Ferris flies out to left field to end the inning. So after 6 full innings of play, the Hampton Crabbers trail the Phoebus Phantoms by a score of 5-2. As we change tapes here, we will rejoin in a couple of minutes.
believe I called him Scotty Coleman.
All right, back here, now that we've got a nice fresh tape in there, and Scotty Bowers is doing his job. Hemingway is now the batter for the Phoebus Phantoms as he's coming in to
Leading things off here in the bottom of the sixth. For the Phantoms,
lead off the bottom of the sixth.
Joe Carnes ripping that one down the left field line. Foul. But I tell you what, he got all of that one.
Well, right as we was coming back on after the tape change, the plate umpire's back here trying to give us a lineup change, and a young man named Hemingway has gone in the game.
That looked a little high.
And that's Tony Hemingway for the Crabbers. Did he tell you where he went in?
I missed it. He was talking to us just as we came back.
Fouled off again. 0-2 is the count.
Number 13, Tony Hemingway, is now at first base for the Hampton Crabbers.
It was really nice of him to turn around so we can see that big 13 on the back of his jersey.
Did it just in time. So Joe Carnes up at the plate.
So Hemingway takes the place of Chuck Niedermeyer. No. Takes the place of Corey Johnson. Bottom of the sixth inning. Phoebus Phantoms up by a score of 5-2. Looked at a third strike as Joe Carnes goes down for the first out of the inning.
That look a little outside to you.
Just a hair. Billy Callis, who has played a great game today. He made, I think, the defensive play of the game that stopped Hampton's threat in the top of the fifth inning when they had runners at second and third with one out.
Yeah, that catch ended the rally, no question about it. A great diving catch. We were saying that is so far the play of the game. If he caught it, if you talk to the Hampton players, they might question that.
But we have to give the young man credit for the catch because the umpire says he caught it.
That's right.
And we can't dispute it either way. So the batter was out. He made the play.
Made the catch.
And it stopped the Crabber rally. Pitch is, I thought, was outside, but the umpire thought differently. 1-1 is the count.
Then Billy Callis makes that great running catch out by the wall. Now, he did drop the ball, but I think that was just when he was trying to rein it in. But the fact of the matter is he ran it down. He got it in his glove. So the kid is all over the outfield.
2-1 is the count. I thought that was a pretty pitch. I think Devin Branch also thought it was a pretty pitch.
That was a little high, wasn't it?
And outside. That's a makeup call. That's a makeup call.
I think you're right.
You hate to say stuff like that, but that was a makeup because the pitch before that was perfect. And there's a shot up middle, pop up to the second baseman. See who's going to make the play. Oh, not the way you want to catch a ball normally.
That was a little casual.
Will Johnson, and then he turns around and throws the ball out to left field. All right, so that's going to bring 2 outs in the inning. Joshua Wilson, the second baseman for the Phantoms, comes up to bat.
I think he was so glad that he caught that ball. Watch this catch.
It was almost like it was kind of haphazardly.
He appears to be under it, then all of a sudden it's 2 feet out to his left. He sticks his glove out there and he's got a snow cone. Then he proceeds to throw the ball in the left field because truly I think he was just amazed that he caught the ball.
Well, they checked that pitch and the first base umpire called that a strike. I never thought the guy moved the bat off his shoulders. His arms moved, but the bat didn't. Either way, the strike is called, and there's Coach Van Dyke down at first base walking around looking at the umpire saying, I'm not sure where you got that call at. Either way, it's a call strike. 0-1 is the count to Josh Wilson. So far in the game is 0 for 3. Looking for his first base hit of the game. Pitches outside. Here we're in the bottom of the 6th inning, getting close to the end of the game.
I think we need to talk a little bit about the playoffs because if Phoebus goes on and wins this game, it is really throwing the bottom 2 spots of the Peninsula District playoffs wide open, and Phoebus is still very much alive. Hampton holding on for dear life.
Now, the top 2 spots is a pretty much shoe-in deal at this point. There's a little grounder to his third baseman, has to come in and make a play, and he does for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Phoebus Phantoms come up empty with no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. So after 6 complete.
There were no errors.
And just a nice play, throw to first. Good fundamental baseball there. You got to be proud of that.
Well, we're heading into the top of the 7th inning now, and we're at the point where we got to pick some players here because 3 outs and the game's over with.
Well,
let's talk about
possibilities because there's still some baseball to be played here.
Yeah, one inning left. We're in the 6th inning. We're actually in the top of the 7th inning. For the Hampton Crabbers, we have to make a decision on who has played well. I think Devin Branch has pitched a great game.
Yes, he has.
He got into trouble one inning where he gave up 4 runs, and after that, the other runs were basically scored because of the defensive end of the game. So Devin has done a good job. Now on Phoebus' side of the situation, Ramses Quiros has pitched a great game in his own right. Right now leading 5-2. The Hampton Crabbers have been their own nemesis in this game, leaving base runners in scoring position on 3 or 4 occasions so far.
And making mental errors in the field.
So
and base running too.
And then we got Billy Callis out in center field, who at this point, in my opinion, made the play of the game when I'm running in on a line shot by the Crabber pitcher Devin Branch to end the 5th inning of play with runners on 2nd and 3rd, where that could very easily have given the Crabbers a 4-3 lead, but instead they come out with nothing.
Yeah, so far that's the play of the game. So you've mentioned some good possibilities.
Todd Nolan, the leadoff batter for the Crabbers, will lead off the top of the 7th inning here. First pitch is a fly ball to short left field, and the shortstop makes the play for the first out.
Mark Lineberry. I tell you, between Mark Lineberry at short and Joe Ward at third base, Phoebus has got a pretty good left side of the infield there.
Well, early on in the game, the shortstop for the Phoebus Phantoms, Mark Lineberry, made 4 or 5 excellent defensive plays to stop rallies for the Crabbers also. So defensively, nice line shot by Matt Johnson of the Crabbers to the third baseman for the 2nd out of the inning.
As we speak, we're talking about the third baseman and the shortstop over there, Mark Lineberry and Joe Ward, and Joe Ward snagged that ball. That was pretty good timing. We were talking about them. They made the catch. We appreciate that.
There's a line shot down to first base line. Fair or foul? It is foul as the ball curved. Foul. So that's 0-1 is the count. And I'll tell you what, he ripped that. That's two pitches in a row that have been stroked.
Yep. Hampton trying to make one last run here.
All right, I agree. We will give you one of the players of the games right now, and the player of the game for the Phoebus Phantoms is their center fielder, Billy Callis. So right now has kind of saved the day for him, as we talked earlier. So he is the Phoebus Phantom player of the game. We now have to pick one for Hampton. Pitch is low. 2-1 is the count.
A lot of good choices.
Nolan made a couple of great catches in the outfield. Devin Branch has not really pitched a bad game. He's had some defensive lapses behind him that have hurt him. All in all, there's a fly ball to right field, and he dropped the ball. No, he didn't catch it. Somebody in the background hollered he caught it. He did not catch it.
We saw him drop that ball, but he did a really good job of acting. He comes up and acting like he did make the catch, so you got to give him credit for that. I wonder if he's in the drama club.
As the guy over here making the announcements for the team, he stands up. He caught it. No, I don't think so.
It was a good try.
So the Hampton Crabbers keep the game going as Will Johnson reaches on air by the right fielder. He's at first base. That's going to bring up Byron Baker, the left fielder. Baker has been on once by a walk, but is 0 for 2 officially. Swing and a miss.
Talking about a player of the game, Devin Branch has pitched very well. Don't forget, he also has a hit, and he has scored a run.
Pitches in the dirt low for a ball. Was it a consistent? So is that what we're going to do?
I tell you, a lot of good choices. Todd Nolan played a good game. The Johnson boys did well, but I think Devin Branch, pitching so well and helping his own cause with the hit and the run scored, he'd be my choice.
Pitches in the dirt as runner at first base, Will Johnson, will advance on the pass ball.
You know,
all right, so our players of the games for the Hampton Crabbers, their pitcher, Devin Branch, who all in all has pitched an extremely good game. And for the Phoebus Phantoms, Billy Callis, defensive play of the game, making that shoestring catch to end the 5th inning of play with the Crabbers with runners on second and third to end the inning and the rally that the Crabbers had.
Now, this game is not over yet. We have a runner in scoring position.
2-2 is the count. 2 outs with a runner at second. That is Will Johnson. Pitch is high and outside. Full count now with guess who coming up behind him.
Now, if he gets on, we still got a ball game.
Well, Devin Branch can hit the ball. He's got a lot of power. So you never know. Pitch is in the dirt, ball 4. So that puts runners at first and second with our Hampton player of the game coming up to bat.
Now this is fun. This is fun.
This is what you're looking for right here.
Hampton trailing by 2 runs. They have runners on first and second, and by 3 runs. I'm sorry. Runners on first and second, and Devin Branch
tying run at the plate,
representing
with
the
2 out.
Run.
With 2 out in the inning. Pitch is high. 1-0. Coming up back behind Devin Branch is Brian Bowman.
Well, Danny Mitchell has the player at the plate that he wants.
He is the...
There you go.
There's a base hit up the middle. And coming in to the plate on a throw, he is out dead. What a pick by our player of the game from the center fielder for the Phoebus Phantoms. Billy Callis makes one heck of a throw from center field to nail the runner at the plate.
And here's a replay. Our player of the game, Billy Callis, we've been talking about him all day. Watch this throw. Dead on the money, no question. Easy play at the plate. He nailed him.
So, again, our player of the games for the Hampton Crabbers was Devin Branch, who picked up his second hit on that play, but unfortunately, the inning ended on the great play by the Phantoms player of the game by Billy Callis. 2 tremendous defensive plays to seal the victory for the Phoebus Phantoms. Final score here at Phoebus High School, the Phoebus Phantoms 5 and the Hampton Crabbers 2. Along with all the WHCS 46 crew, Mike Hauser, along with Roger Cawthon, thank you for being with us, and good afternoon, everyone.